Hello everyone, and today I have two packages. This is literally how it arrived in my mailbox. I believe it's fabric, and I'm pretty sure this is fabric, and I think they both go to one or the other of these two patterns. So I'm going to start with this one because I am dying of curiosity. I've never seen anything like it in my life. It's just a ball of tape. Both of these are from on. Oh, I know what fabric this is, and it is just under the surface of this. Yeah. It's linen, see? Oh my goodness. Okay, so this fabric is for this shirt, for Candace, my daughter Candace. And wow. Oh my gosh. It's very pretty. I don't know if it's really showing up. It's, what would you call this? Sagey sea green, I guess. It with the selvage ends here, and yeah, over here on this side. And I'm fairly certain I ordered enough to accommodate her size range on that pattern. Alrighty, so this, I'll have to wash it and press it before I can sew with it. So this fabric is for both of these, and this, if it is the pink batiste, it is 60 inches wide. $60 yeah. Okay, and I believe I ordered 3 yards. I ordered 3 yards of it. It'll be really cute. I'm not gonna do the band. I could do lace, like this view C up here. This has lace trim on the bottom, which that'll be kind of fun. So here's the fabric washed. Well, I washed it on delicate, and I dried it with a dry towel for 27 minutes on delicate. So it didn't take any time at all. This piece right here is the sleeve drawstring, which threads through a casing on the sleeve right here. I made this shirt once before, and I didn't like the way the drawstring was put together. So I use elastic in the sleeves, and then I just make a bow out of this piece. This fabric is also very stretchy, all directions. The bias cut, straight grain, long grain, whatever. Very stretchy. So I put it on a 45-degree angle, but I wasn't too concerned. if I didn't have enough fabric. So keep that in mind just in case you want to make this shirt. Elastic works great in the sleeve, and then you can just make a bow out of straight grain fabric. Okay, I have all these pieces cut. This is the neckband piece. I think this is the back, this is the front, and this is the sleeve. So as you can see, it's not that many pieces. And we will soon be putting it together, but because this fabric is so stretchy, I'll show you right here on a scrap. So let me find, okay, so this is the selvage right here, and it was actually facing this direction when I was cutting out my fabric. So from selvage, this is the stretch, and then on the selvage edge, this is the stretch, and here's 45 degrees. So it's extremely stretchy, and for that reason I'm going to put a ballpoint needle in my sewing machine. I'm going to go 80-12. I hate using tape, but I can't really think of a better way. I used to use little pill bottles and I would fill them up and throw those away, but it's still plastic, so I just use a little bit of tape, and that'll keep everybody from stabbing themselves. Okay, now so the first step, if I recall, is to stitch the front and back together. Two front pieces, and there are two back pieces. And what you are supposed to do is stitch along this right here. If it's curved at all, it's a side seam. So this is the side seam, this is the arm side, and this is the neck edge, and this is the front. You may have seen me, if I include that in the video, you may have seen me of the areas that you've got to do something with, and that's because this, as I said earlier, this fabric is stretchy. I just find it helps a little bit. So if this fabric had a print, this would be the print side, and this would be the print side. So basically it does not, and I can stitch it right here and then flip it this direction. So that's what I'm going to do because this fabric is staying together. I want to look at my stitch options. Okay, so I don't know if you can even see that. That's the stitch I'm going to use. This is the stitch I'm using the T-foot, which is the everything foot. Needle down, 6 wide, 2 up and down. Okay, so I'm not going to use this stitch on the rest of it because, for one, I don't need to. I'm thinking I can easily trim this with my pinking shears. So what I forgot is that this view has, I think all the views have it, this opening at the front neck. And this dot right here on the pattern piece is to start and stop with your stitching. So what I'm going to do, because this is nowhere near 5/8 of an inch, I'm going to cut this out again. Okay. Happy little accidents that really don't have any bearing on the outcome or my favorite kind. So I'm just going to skim this off. Okay, I'm going to move my stitch length up to 3.0. Its default setting is 2.5, but I need it a little bit bigger, I think. So you either start at this line right, this little dot right here that you just made, or you start at the bottom and stop at that little dot right there. Okay, now I'm going to see. Perfect. Okay. I was concerned that it might be a requirement that I stitch with a zigzag since this fabric is stretchy, but the straight stitch seems to be working really well, and I honestly feel like it's not going to shred because I've got the pinking shears put to use here. Okay, so then I think we're supposed to fold down the neck. All right. I really don't want to press this fabric because I'm worried it will change its appearance. I'm hoping I can not press if possible. But with cotton fabric, you would probably press. This little neck opening. You just fold it over twice. And I'll zoom in so you can see it. And you're going to stitch. You will stitch across and then stitch. This will be folded as well. Okay. And watch the pins. And that is your neck opening right there. first thing I'm going to do is trim this. This is the back center, and this is the side seam, and this is the arm side seam. That's just what you need to remember. Okay, so that's been trimmed. All right. Now we're going to put these right sides together. And we will stitch these side seams together. This time I'll stitch it and then I'll cut them with my pinking shears. Do full 5/8 inch seam allowance because I haven't trimmed anything off yet. And shoulders. And I don't remember if I mentioned it in my last video where I made this shirt in different fabric, but instead of starting and backing up and then finishing and backing up, I'm just going to do 2 seams. Stitch it twice. Okay, make sure this isn't twisted. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is the piece number 3, neck binding and loop. The loop is the little button closure. And I will, right on this end, stitch this together using 1/4 inch seam allowance as stated on the pattern. Stitch it again. Right sides in. So the right side of the neck binding is stitched to the wrong side of the neck edge. And I start at the back where the seam is. My machine at 4.5 length, which I on this sewing machine consider a gathering stitch. And we're going to do 2 rows of gathering where our marks are. Not use the machine thread cutter. I lift my presser foot, I put the machine and needle up, and then I pull gently until I have some thread. And now I've got some tail thread, and I'm going to do another row of gathering stitches. That's one side. And next we have the other side. I really don't want to stitch this way, so idea why I've got static electricity in here. Okay, now this fabric may be difficult to gather, and if it is, I'm just going to stitch the gathers in by hand. Okay, here we go. I'm going to pull from the thread side only. Oh, that's fine. And you want to make sure that your folds or your gathers are all facing up. You don't want anything turned under. And the same thing on this side. Make sure those gathers are all facing up. Put your machine back in 3.0. Make sure needle down and get these threads out of the way because you're going to want to pull on the long tails. And I do not feel confident enough with these, so I'm going to just use these since it will be encased. I'm pinning the neckline down, the neck binding down, but I don't know where this day is gone. All of a sudden it is 2 o'clock and it's time for me to get ready to talk to my sister like I do every day. So when I come back, I will have already pinned this neck binding down, and these are the 2 loop ends. One forms the loop and one you just fold, and that's where your button and the loop will go. And the next step after that is sleeves. All right, it has been pinned all the way around the neck. Put my machine back in 3.0 for stitch length, needle down, and start to stitch. Okay, now I'm pretty sure, yeah, there's a spot right here that did not get folded under. It's inevitable. It doesn't always happen, but I'm going to tuck it under using this needle when I get to it again. This time, when I go over the neck edge, I'm going to do what I call squiggly or squiggle stitching. And it looks intentional, but it is intentional. It's to catch everything that didn't get caught the first time. I don't want her to wash this shirt and then discover that the neck edge isn't completely stitched down. And because it's so narrow, it's really hard to do. So what I do, it takes a long time, but it'll look fast here because I'm going to speed it up. But it is you stitching like this on a straight space. I have to get this foot pedal where I can use it. Okay. Okay. What you end up with is an interesting thread design element, and you can use a like a metallic thread. You can use a different color thread, but it kind of gives you, I don't know if you can see it, but it's just a squiggly effect that looks intentional. Okay, so this is the button side, and I will fold these two. Actually, I'll fold the end in and then the two sides toward the middle, and then fold it over itself. You want all the raw edges to be on the inside of a fold. That's the best way to describe this. And the other side, loop. Like so, and you'll be stitching a button. Honestly, I don't think I need it to be that long, so I'll put it about there. And then you have a button that will go here, but until I get the button, I don't want to make the loop. Okay, next, this is really coming along, it's very cute. We next do the sleeves. Okay, my markings went through. Now, if you didn't see the first video when I made this for my sister, there are two buttonholes right here. You're supposed to fold under, and you're going to have like a little casing that you will then put this that you make into basically a string through the sleeves, and it's supposed to gather it up. I did not like it. I won't do it. So pretend like this is the sleeve. If you do this method, you fold under the fabric here, You have to make the buttonholes first with some interfacing behind them. And then you fold it again like this, and you thread one end of the self fabric string through, and it comes out this end, and it's supposed to pull the sleeve up and make it puffy. It didn't make the sleeve puffy, so I decided that's not the method I'm going to use. So they want us to stitch the sleeves 5/8 of an inch at the underarm. And I'm going to do it twice for stability. Had you make 3 dots on your fabric, and you are to gather between those dots. Remember, cutting mechanism on your sewing machine, you want long threads to pull up these gathers with. Have your shirt right side out, and you make these 2 seams, so they should be right sides facing, like so. I usually go through the arm, and I just hold on to the sleeve down here where the side seams match, and I just pull the top of the garment over. It just is it's a way for me to remember how to put a sleeve in. Okay, and then you pin at that side seam, the sleeve side seam, and the shirt top, blouse, whatever side seam. And then you just match them up. Try not to stretch them too much if you can possibly not. And then gather up the cap of the sleeve. And that dot that's at the center top, this one right here at the very center top, not the side dots, but the one here, needs to match up with your shoulder seam. And you're going to end up having to gathers on the side. You want them even. Match up this dot on the shirt with this dot on the sleeve. Would probably be helpful if I brought you down and you could see. So this is the sleeve dot. This is the shirt dot, this is the sleeve dot, and I'm going to have to match these. And I find it easier to just match them first. And then you can kind of fix it so that the gathers let the sleeve fit into the armhole. The more pins you use on those gathers, the less likely they are to move out of shape. So this arrived. I can't believe it. Yeah. Okay, I'm back at the sleeve. These are the gathering threads. I've got 2 more to pull. You'll always have 4 because you got the 2 bobbin threads and then the 2 needle threads, and those will be on this side right there, and just lift these off. And there's the sleeve. Where's the front? Here we go. Feel like, there it is. Ta-da! Now we'll take it over to the ironing board. I'll probably, well, I may have to iron this part, but it won't be as obvious because it will be turned under with elastic. So that'll be that. And I need to finish the second sleeve right here and get it attached. Alright, got the second sleeve stitched in. I'm still trying to decide about using the iron on this fabric. That's gauze, not linen. I think I mentioned that yesterday. But as I said, I'm really not mad about it. Okay. We've gotten the sleeves attached. Okay, so before I continue with the sleeves, let's add the lace. It first and decide. I'm trying to decide how I want to apply the lace. I'm not sure that a straight stitch, while it would be okay to use one, I just don't think the lace would have enough give on this stretchy fabric. I think it might hold it in too much. I have to go turn under a hem. It's just going to be about like this all the way around the bottom, and I am going to press it, unless I think I'll just do a little bit in the back, and if it looks awful then I'll try to just do it like that. So we'll see how that goes. While I wait for my iron to heat up, I will tell you about our windy weather today. I don't know why, but my chickens really seem to enjoy it. They are not free range. They're in a huge run that we just finished building. And the reason for that is our property isn't fenced. We do have coyotes, quite a lot. And without a fence, I just don't feel like I could emotionally, I would just be a wreck thinking about where are my chickens all day long. So that's why we built this huge run. We call it the Chicken Palace. And they have things to climb, and they fly back and forth, and they seem to be quite happy. They have access to their coop, so if they get too cold, they can pop into the coop and their nesting boxes to get warm. But I keep checking on them because, you know, I'm a little worried about them. But anyway, because the wind is blowing, it's gusting. I think it's around 14 miles an hour. Let me check here real quick. 18. The wind gusts are 18. And that's not bad considering what we have had in years past. However, I have a huge fuchsia plant sitting on a plant stand on my front porch. And I was putting food into the crock pot to cook today and kind of cleaning the kitchen and doing a load of laundry and playing with the dogs and all that stuff. And all of a sudden I heard what sounded like somebody crashing, like their body kind of crashed into the front of the house, and I couldn't tell where. I didn't know if it was front porch, the window under where the from the parlor window, the living room window, or even the garage. I thought, oh my God, what was that? I just don't think I can handle anything really weird today. And I immediately thought it was a person. And I crept around and I looked and I was like, oh my God, I hope it wasn't upstairs. So I just about had decided to come upstairs. What had fallen, because I was forcing myself to think that it wasn't a person. I suddenly thought I could just check the front porch. I could just open the door and see, and there was my fuchsia plant practically upside down. It just lost a few blooms, but it is in full, massive bloom right now. I'll try to pop a picture right here. There is that, and I think my iron has warmed up now. Ready to hem. I've got it pressed down. It really didn't change the look of the fabric too much to press it. I'm going to start hemming in the back, and I'm going to use a zigzag because of the stretch. Alright, so there's the hem, and I kind of feel like if I work my way up from the bottom, I'll have better luck. I need to decide. There's the first piece, which I happen to really like. Sleeves need to be hemmed. I need to look up the size of the upper arm on that website. I think it was Notions, Knotions. Okay, Notions Ladies Body Measurements. And it's so helpful. Arm is... And then of course you have to take into consideration that this is so stretchy. Okay, I've overlapped this by 1 inch, and I'm going to stitch okay. That's that. Oh, crap. I don't know what I did. I'll have to... Okay. Alright, so I'm going to mark halfway points with my friction pen. So pull that to that side and that to that side and mark halfway points again. I just realized I've been talking to a blank camera. I don't know what happened. We did have a power flicker and it might have caused it to turn off. I don't know if I caught this sleeve. It's basically finished, except I've got to sew a bow on the top part. I have that sleeve to do, the other sleeve to do. I decided I'm going to put lace around the collar instead of more lace at the hem. I don't want to distort the whole entire blouse and have it be a, what my mom used to call a ball up. You just ball it up and throw it in the bottom of your closet. I don't want that to happen. So, and I need to put a button on the front. So anyway, I will see you when that happens. So I've decided I'm going to add lace trim to the neck edge. I pinned it all the way around and now I'm just going to stitch it. I'm doing 3.5 stitch length. I feel like this will feel like she's got a spider on her arm, so I'm not going to use that. I found this lace, which is a soft cotton-esque lace, that I think what I can do is tie these bows. Ooh, cut that out. Okay, and then they will actually show up. The other lace wasn't showing up, and this is. And of course they'll be sewn on by hand, so when they fray, which they will, and get, you know, to the point where you can't stand it, I just had a great idea. I'm not going to sew them on. I am going to... Where did I put them? I just saw them like yesterday. Oh, here they are. I'm going to pin them on. There we go. Now she can just remove it. But I'm also going to give her this lace so that she can replenish the bows as needed. Okay, so I have to do the button. I've got to finish this sleeve and find a button. Let me think where I can find a button. Ah. There may not be one in here, but there may be one in here. But there's too close to green. The yellow is clashing bad. Too blue. That is so adorable. And I was thinking about putting this little guy. Oh, he's just a little bit too much, I think. Yeah, he's too much. Okay. So I need to gather up this sleeve, and then I'm done, and make the bow. Alright, last bow, last thing. I need to cut these threads actually. My hands are shaky. I was outside doing stuff and now I'm tired. Okay, so here it is. I will take a picture and pop it up so that you could see how it looks. And it won't release the shirt. All right, I'll take a photo, and this is all finished. So thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.